and Clayton in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hey, Clayton, what's up?
Hi, Tom. I say we need an asthmatic settlement. The polluters kill the earth and are richly rewarded. I have exceptionally severe asthma, and now high blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes, gallbladder issues, and things like that, all from the over 40 years of medicines. I take 20 pills a day.
Ouch.
And I live in poverty, so I have an IQ of 136, and but my income is down at the very, very bottom of income in the United States. I mean, it's as close as you can get. I was a top student. Anyway, how can we get this going? An asthmatics settlement, some kind of a sort of a class action suit.
Right.
Asthmatics versus the polluters, because they've basically killed us. And
yeah, asthma has exploded in the United States over the past 50 years. Interestingly, the air was far more polluted 50 years ago than it is now, and for the 50 years preceding that. And asthma was rising, but not like it has in the last 50 years. And so there are some epidemiologists, and in fact, there's a whole chapter about this in a book I wrote called Threshold. Some epidemiologists are suggesting that it's not so much the pollution that's causing asthma as it is the body. Asthma is a autoimmune response. It's the body, thinking that it's attacking the pollution, but it ends up attacking the body itself and destroying cells. And that's the consequence of our not having parasites. That back when we had, typically kids would get pinworms, people had hookworms, people had, various kinds of parasites. These parasites live in the intestine, and they produce chemicals that downregulate the human immune system so that we don't expel them, and we co-evolved with them. These parasites are found in virtually every Homo species and primate species, all the way down to lemurs. There are parasites like this, and we've dewormed ourselves in the last 50 years, and that's causing the asthma. Now that is something that you might want to look into, number one. And number two, I say that because I actually know a fellow who now had to leave the United States, move to the UK, who makes a living selling parasites to people to take therapeutically. And again, I wrote about him in my book. And he's curing people of asthma and helping people with MS and all kinds of, these autoimmune disorders. It's really quite remarkable. Now, that's one category of response. The other category is, yes, these polluters are destroying the earth. And it's not just causing asthma. It's causing storms and taking out cities and things like that. And so I think that the first thing we have to do is identify the fact that there is a cost to carbon pollution, and that ranges from asthma and cancer on the health side to things like global warming and Superstorm Sandy on the planetary side. And we need to associate a real cost with that carbon, and it should start out at probably $10 or $15 a ton and go up by $10 every year or two until it gets to over $100 a ton, at which point it's reflecting its real cost, and that will cause us as a society to move away from carbon-based fuels, and then cycle all that money back to we the people, so everybody gets a check, just like in Canada, everybody gets a $2,000 a year check from Alaska, from the Alaska Permanent Fund. Cycle that money back as a check to everybody in the country so that people can, afford to pay for more expensive gasoline and afford to pay for, moving from a gas-driven car to an electric car, for example. Am I making sense, Clayton?
Yes, but I was wondering if there's any way we can initiate something right away. I don't know how much time I have left, and living, and
well, that's a question for somebody like Mike Papantonio. He does that kind of thing for a living.
I did call their office already.
Yeah,
they're swamped with BP cases.
Yeah, that's right. He's working on that right now.
But I was going to say, at one point I felt that asthma is kind of like, kind of like the opposite of AIDS, because AIDS is kind of like a declining immune system, and asthma is an overactive immune system.
That's correct.
So overactive it'll kill us by closing down our breathing.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. And that's why I'm not offering advice to you personally, but I would say anybody who's confronting that should Google autoimmune therapies and helminthic, HELMINTHIC therapy, because I have personally seen, I personally know people who had severe asthma. I mean, just like potentially lethal severe asthma, who have been cured, if that's the correct word, by the judicious and careful. And by the way, these are prescribed in the German healthcare system. The little eggs for these worms come in little bottles that look like drug vials, and they're sterile and they're safe and all this kind of stuff. So anyhow, I would say,
my goal is a financial disincentive for polluting.
Yes,
I'm getting into clean energy faster.
I'm absolutely with you on that, and I don't know that you can, you might, I just don't know where to begin on that. Other than working toward a carbon tax, I think that there are so many wrongs that are being perpetrated by these companies that we just need to be screaming about it. Clayton, thanks a lot for the call, and thanks for listening to AM 760.